Jesus is God, and God is in control of all things, all good days and bad days. So if you're having a good day and you're having joy, rest in that joy. Enjoy it while it lasts, because when a bad day comes, it's going to come, guaranteed. And it's going to come to test your faith and to test your reaction, your response, and whatever else God desires to test in your heart in that moment. And I'm so thankful, you guys, that He is this way, because it proves that God is personal, that He's paying attention to detail, and that He looks at the heart of His people, and that He cares, because He's allowing these things to happen for our best, so that we grow, and that we grow into the likeness of His heart, and that we grow into the person, the heart, the soul that He knows will form in His hand by His doing, by Him allowing these tests to come into a person's life. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit, because I know that people are going through so many of their own tests and fires right now, you guys. I am too. I'm going through so much, okay? And I was really encouraged by this verse the other day, and yeah, it really encouraged me to make this video. And it's also about being content, learning to be content in no matter what situation you're in. And I've really learned, you guys, so much about walking with God in that way, to where our maturity will grow with each passing fire and test. And if you fail a test, God will send it again. If a person is really truly seeking God, He'll send a test again so that they can do better and, show their fruit and be tried in a fire before God, because He's looking deep into the heart. And the only way that He can do that is to send uncomfortable days, to send bad days, right? So if you lose a job, don't blame Satan. Look at it as in God is in control. He knows what He's doing. Maybe He's closing this door for a reason. And let's just say, and He's going to open another one, okay? Whatever the reason, I know the reason is always, always, always going to include the foundation of the reason that God allows these things to happen and to take place in our lives, is because He is getting man to that desperation place where they see that they need God in all things, so that they seek Him. Because when something bad happens, what do people do? Well, God's people run to God. People who are desperate, they'll cry out for help. Like, they're going to check their own heart. And it just depends on how everybody responds. Some people will go and try and numb the pain in other ways, and run into the world and just get busy doing other things, and they don't even realize that a test has come, or they don't even realize a door has been shut by God and another one is going to be opened. They don't realize they're even being tested in a fire. So yeah, I'm talking about this because, for example, let's just say you get a flat tire, or you have a really hard day at work, or there's employees or customers who are being rude to you, and nothing seems to be going right. You have financial issues. The washer breaks down. The dryer breaks down. The dishwasher. You find all of these things just weighing in on you. And these are just minor things that I'm mentioning, besides someone losing their job. But then there's sickness that comes, like cancer, right? Terminal illness that comes, and even death in a family. These are just the harder examples that come, the harder fires that come. And God is in control of it all, not the devil. The devil's not in control. God actually uses the devil to get God's work done. He uses everyone who is willing or non-willing. Even if you're not even realizing it, he's using you in some way to test other people's hearts or your own heart in ways that you can't even understand unless you go to God for this understanding. But he makes vessels of glory, right? And vessels of dishonor. And he uses them all. He uses vessels for his glory. All vessels. So, regardless of whether or not you're honoring God, he's still going to use your life for his glory. And he'll get that glory. But the Bible verse that I was talking about that was sent to me was by God as a deep, deep, deep encouragement. The Bible verse that I'm referring to is Ecclesiastes 7:14. I can never say that word right. I can never, pronounce it right. Drives me nuts. Anyways, and it reads, "In the day of prosperity, be joyful, but in the day of adversity, consider that God has also set the one over against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him." That's the King James. God created the good day and the bad day. Okay, notice how it says, "In the day of prosperity, be joyful, but in the day of adversity," not if adversity comes, but when. But in the day of adversity, consider this, that God has made both the good day and the bad day. Okay, so God has made both prosperity time of being joyful and adversity. So God is the one who is allowing you to have a good day and a bad day. And learning to be content and learning to remember that God is in control is important. Because then a person can truly grow in the maturity of being content in any which situation. And that doesn't mean that God doesn't care, okay, about the things that are happening in your time of adversity. Okay, he does. He absolutely does care. That's why he's allowing it, because he's using it to try your heart, for your fire to refine you, okay? And how you'll respond, and just what you're going to learn from it, because there's going to be so many lessons that come out of it if people are paying attention. If they're willing and working to walk into the way of righteousness, if they want to learn from this, how can I be better? How could I respond better? And to really focus on how God is the foundation. That right there. God is the one in control. That right there. If people focus on that and they believe it and they hold firm on it, then they'll be able to get through any situation. And I know that it's easier said than done, because believe me, you guys, I have been through so many situations. It'd be easier for me to tell someone else, oh, you'll be fine. But when you're in it and you're in the midst of it, it gets hot, right? The fire's hot. It hurts like heck. And, in the moment, it can sometimes feel like it's never going to end. But doesn't it always end? It does. It does, because God brings his people through every situation. That's what he's taught me. And, I'm living proof. He's brought me through every single day. I'm here talking to you. I'm bringing this to you. Because he's bringing me through things right now. And it just proves that he's working, right? Always working. Always building. Always giving. And that's another thing too, you guys, is to, if you acknowledge that this good thing that God is doing in your heart, allowing you to even be tried in the first place, because he cares for your best, and for your best interest, right? He's the Father in molding. It's so important to give God thanks and to honor him, even in the moments when it just feels so hopeless and helpless. And if a person really steps back and looks at their situation and knows and has their faith and they're rooted in Jesus, and they look back at their life, they will know that God is bringing them through. So naturally, it's right to give God glory and honor and to thank him for bringing you through these trials. So I like to meditate on thinking about when things are happening to me. It's not that God is, mad at me, and he's not wanting to punish me. He's trying my heart. And when the devil comes and says, God's mad at you, and this is why all these bad things are happening to you, that's where you can debunk that lie, right? Because God is the one in control. He's the one with the power, not the devil, not unless you give it to him, not unless you give the devil the power and control. God's the one in power. God's the one in control. He's driving it, right? So he's in the driver's seat, and all we have to do is trust him, put on that seatbelt and go for a ride with God wherever he takes you. And even if it's scary as hell sometimes, you're allowed to feel scared. You're allowed to express those emotions, but there is a difference in growing in maturity in our emotions and how we respond to a disaster, how we respond to a crisis. And I know this about me, you guys. I know that there's times when I can totally freak out. Like, totally freak out if I'm just, inside my head and I'm listening to the devil. In those moments, I've been there, but I have definitely grown to where God calms my heart. He calms the storm in me, like I can hear him talking to me, even in the depth of a crisis. I'll just give an example, like when my mom died, okay? Every part of me was breaking. Every part of me was screaming inside, and I was wailing. But there was peace. There was, and it was God. It's God. Anyways, because he's in control. So, hope this helps.